permission, if you will, we start our first seminar here in Iran's Cultural Center. First of all, I have to thank our speakers, Professor Inga Brandel, Professor of Political Science from Södertörn University, and Mr. Amirreza Shirkat, who is in charge of research in the Iranian Embassy here in Stockholm. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Secondly, I have to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for accepting Iran's Cultural Center invitation. All of you are very welcome. I have to make an announcement before I go to our topic of today. We are going to have, as a matter of fact, in this center, monthly gatherings. And I would like to invite all of you to join us as ICC network. I hope so. And we will have talks about various topics which are interesting for us regarding to Iranian culture and civilization. And we will have lectures and discussions. Any topic that you suggest also is well taken. We can arrange, as a matter of fact, seminars and roundtables about it. Also, we invite you to volunteer as speakers for different topics that you are interested in, or you are a specialist in that area. And I hope that we can, because I'm new here, although I'm almost 8 months here, but it's the first time I'm gathering this. And I hope when I leave, we have a network of people who are specialists in Iranian studies or Islamic studies, or they are interested in, as a matter of fact, expanding Iran-Sweden cultural relations or whatever. So again, I thank you all, and I hope that it is a very good start for our gatherings. Today we are going to start this first seminar that I call it ICC Speaker Series, with a very broad topic from the Iranian Revolution to the Arab Spring. You may know recently a book was published by Christian Carrel titled Strange Rebels, 1979 and the Birth of the 21st Century. It's very recent, it's 2013, and he talks about the importance of the 1970s, that special decade. Talks about, as a matter of fact, two rebels in his book, which are religion and the market. He says that the religion and the market challenged the post-war consensus. In this book, according to that book, most historians would like us believe that the 21st century began in 1989 with the fall of the Berlin Wall. But the author argues that the world we live in today and the problems that plague it can be traced back a decade later, earlier, a decade earlier, it is in the 70s. Then he talks about a few moments which are very important in the 70s, and at least 3 of those moments are which are pinpointed. As first of all is the emergence of revolutionary Islam as a political force. So he talks about the Iranian Revolution and the importance of Islamic Revolution in Iran in the 70s. Also he talks about the beginning of market revolutions in China and in Great Britain, talking about Thatcher and also the importance of economic development in China and the program which started at that decade. And the third the event that he talks about is the steerings of the resistance movements in Eastern Europe and Afghanistan, which finally led to the collapse of the Soviet Union. So, in short, according to Karel, 1979 heralded the economic, political, and religious realities that define the 21st century. In his book that I have the cover here, you see Ms. Thatcher is here in the middle, and Ayatollah Khomeini, and two other people, China and the Pole here. And he talks about the importance of religion and market. But there are, in my view, several questions that can be raised. First of all, is that are these two rebels, that is market and religion, necessarily linked? So we can have discussion about this maybe later on. And there is another important question that is my focus. Why we did not appreciate the significance of 1979 sooner in social sciences, in political science, in economics, in sociology. As a matter of fact, we can talk about the failure of economics, the failure of political science, or the social sciences to predict the key events or dates of the late 20th century and the early 21st century, like the Iranian Revolution, Islamic Revolution in 1979, like the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, and even the 2001, the catastrophic events of 9/11, which all of them had a common component, that was religion, and the impact of religion on these issues are very obvious. So there was a failure in social sciences, and also, as a matter of fact, to predict these things. And so some people talk about, as a matter of fact, to add religion to our analysis in social sciences, like the feminists who sometimes added the women to the social science and said women are playing a very important role and we have to consider them in our analysis. And now people like him try to, as a matter of fact, make us believe that there is another element which is very important. Regarding the Arab Spring, that is the topic of our lectures today. In my view, at least there are three accounts, three ways of explaining it. Why the Arab Spring? A liberal account, they think that this movement is an anti-dictatorship movement. So the people are looking for democracy. This is one way of explaining what's going on in the region. The second account is the nationalist account. In my view, they think that this is a kind of anti-colonial movement. So the Arab Spring is an anti-colonial movement, and the people are looking for freedom and independence. The third account may be the socialist account, or whatever we call it. It is, they are talking about economic aspects. The Arab Spring is because of the economic grievances, because of the economic injustices. So it is a kind of anti-economic injustices. So they are looking for economic justice, equality, and welfare. There are two questions in my view which are very important. Not about the reasons of the Arab Spring, but about the nature of the Arab Spring. First is regarding the topic that I talked about, the role of religion. Is religion important in this movement or not? Or is it religious or secular? So this is kind of topic we can talk about. And also, what is the role of the Iranian Revolution? Because 1979 is a very important point in the decade of the 70s, which Karel is talking about. So the Iranian Revolution, the Islamic Revolution, in his view, is very important. So we can talk about this, also the importance of this in the Arab Spring these days. So today we have two respected scholars who will talk about the issue, and I invite them here, please. Professor Inga Brandl Professor of Political Science at Southern University. Here you are. We'll talk on the Arab Spring, popular upheavals and regime change in a context. Very welcome. And Mr. Amirreza Shirkat, researcher in international relations and career diplomat, who will talk on From Tehran to Cairo, Muslims revolt, common roots and similar challenges. Here you are, please. So I don't intervene, and I do not. I think we start with Professor Inga Brandl, and then we move to Mr. Shirkat, and then we have the audience who can raise their questions. Thank you very much for your attending and accepting our invitation. Here you are.